When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the Best Soccer Show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the Best Soccer Show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois. I'm going to bring it right down real fast because the United States men's national team just played to a 1-1 draw with Canada in Nashville, Tennessee. Jared, they gave us a couple of minutes of joy after Brennan Aronson scored, but then Alphonso Davies happened, and it's 2 points from 2 matches for the United States.
It doesn't even come down to that. Obviously, those are the things that ended up changing the score of the game, but what it comes down to are missed opportunities. And Greg Berhalter, why are you waiting till the 83rd minute to make a sub in this game where you're struggling to match energy? You know, you have a 3-game window. Why are you playing players to this point, many of them on the game? I don't understand the coaching in this, and I have not been a Berhalter out guy or anything like that. I preach patience and everything.
I don't know. I might be there. Jared.
This was a definitely a miss on Berhalter's side in terms of matching Canada's intensity and energy.
Okay, we have the phone lines open. This is going to be about you. 717-727-2378. We want to hear what you have to say. Again, the United States gets it's frustrating. Not creating anything. Nothing's happening. Finally, you get a little bit of a transitional opportunity. Brennan Aronson scores, and then right back down the other end, DeAndre Yedlin. And, I'm not sure I blame entirely DeAndre Yedlin. He got beat by a world-class winger fullback, right, in Alphonso Davies. But you have to figure out how to cover for those moments, and we've been asking this. We asked this after the game in El Salvador, Jared. What is the defense condition? What is your DEFCON level for this group right now?
Go to DEFCON 2.
I mean, DEFCON 1, again, is blow the whole thing up because you're in danger of not qualifying. It's 2 games. I don't know if I can say that, but it is not great. And I'm trying to figure out where my anger level should be because I've said, look, the United States is building a new program. It's a new group of players. We talked about El Salvador. It's a difficult environment. It's their first time out, et cetera, et cetera. At home, you should have none of that. At home, you shouldn't have to deal with, we got nervous and we couldn't put it together. Look, I know that Weston McKennie missed out because apparently he did something dumb with COVID-19 protocols. That's ridiculous. I know Giovanni Reyna was out because he had a hamstring injury. But you have players to go win games at home in CONCACAF, and you didn't do that. And now it's only right that the fan base raise the level of ire a little bit. Hit the DEFCON 2 button and say, all right, Greg, show us what you got, because if it doesn't happen in Honduras, if it's 3 points or 2 points from 3 matches, Jared, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You're panicking, and I don't know that the fan base would panic nearly as much if it wasn't on the heels of just a failure 4 years ago. And I think that's the kind of thing that's amping this up and making us feel even more distraught at this moment. Granted, if they win in Honduras on Sunday, you're right back where you need to be. 5 points from an away and a home game, 2 away and 1 home. But at this point, is anyone confident that we can do that?
Look, you did not drop points. I saw this it phrased this way in a couple of media reports. I understand why, because of the relative strength of the squads, et cetera, et cetera. But you did not drop points in El Salvador because those are not points you have to qualify. You got a bonus point. I think Jared, you said it. It was kind of a +1 situation. It didn't feel that way because they should have played better and they should have scored, but it was a +1 situation. You are now -1 because you dropped 2 points at home, right? So you better go find something else in Honduras. And here's the problem for Greg Berhalter, right? If you had won this game tonight, it almost doesn't matter. Yes, you want a point from Honduras at least. As you said, 5 points and you're sitting pretty. But if they won the game tonight, we could kind of say, okay, that's the nerves. That's the butterflies. Shake it off. Get back at it in October when you've got games that you can win again. Now, if you do not beat Honduras, I'm not talking about drawing Honduras. If you do not beat Honduras, there's going to be some serious question as to whether or not Greg Berhalter should continue as the U.S. men's national team head coach. And that would be sad because he put in a ton of work to get us here. I think he did an incredible job recruiting and building team camaraderie, but the man has not coached a good soccer game in these two matches. He hasn't done it.
I almost expect him to call Ricardo Pepi off the bench, and Ricardo Pepi's like, nah, dude, I'm gonna sit this last game out and maybe change where I'm going by October. Like, how are you not playing Ricardo Pepi in this game? How are you not bringing that kid in this game?
I don't think that's where I want to. I mean, I get it. He's an exciting player. He scores goals.
What's the other scenario that you have him in for right now? What's the other scenario you have him in this right now?
I understand that. Okay, again, Josh Sargent didn't score in the minutes he had. It's not on Josh Sargent and Berhalter wait until the 83rd minute or whatever to bring in Sargent. I thought Sargent was pretty good and nearly sprung a couple things via his work with his back to goal, and he just got squeezed and he wasn't getting any help, and they were just dog tired all over the field. That's a very good point from Daniel, by the way. What are they doing? What is the style of play? What are you trying to what are you trying to accomplish out there? If you're not going to play to find Jordan Pefok because he's your goal scorer, okay, how are you creating opportunities? At least, and there were moments, look, where Sebastian Lletget and Kellen Acosta finally got involved, particularly Lletget. But there were also periods of time, especially in the first half, where it's like, does anybody want to make a forward run? Does anybody want to try to open up space? Or are we just going to dilly-dally around the back? We'll pass it. Oh, John Brooks again. What the hell?
Where's the player that can link the back line to the front line? Oh, he's probably sitting out because he decided to go out on the town or something this last couple of days.
Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh. I don't know exactly what
it might be as simple as we saw him signing
autographs
autographs in El Salvador. That could have been the thing that you're not supposed to do.
That's what I said, yes. It's very possible that that's what he got suspended for, which is, again, dumb. And I understand. Weston McKennie's a gregarious guy, and he likes to make friends with everybody, and people want to take his picture. He plays for Juventus. Great. It's a COVID-19 situation. You have to wear masks. You have to stay away from everybody. Don't put yourself in a position where anybody has to say, look, the El Salvador people are making a stink about this, and we can't really do anything but suspend you.
I mean, Nathan Hill here says the late sub decisions are really bad coaching choices. I don't know that the subs themselves were bad.
No, the subs are fine.
Time. It's the timing.
Too late. What the hell are we waiting to the 80th minute for? All right, there are phone calls. I want to make sure that we get as many people on the air as possible. Derek from Atlanta, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Not so good, Derek.
I want to talk about Greg. I'm sorry. I'm tired of this. And, I'm one of these people. I watch a lot of games every weekend, Premier League, French League. And those coaches, they're given a short leash. And if they put out something like what we saw tonight, they're getting yanked. And this is ridiculous at this point. And I know Greg, like you just said, he put in a lot of hard work, but the results are not shown on the field. We're like scraping by, even with the trophies that we won. It's scraping by. It's 1-0. It's something coming on the set piece.
The thing about that, Garrett, the thing about the win in the Nations League, which was 3-2, right, with the penalty kick to win it, the thing about and what set piece goals, right, and the win in the Gold Cup final over Mexico, because those are the two things that you can hang your hat on if you're Greg Berhalter. As you said, they were narrow wins. They were scraping by. I understand scraping by the first time you play Mexico on a big stage. I understand scraping by with your B team or your C+ team in a Gold Cup final. But if those are not the building blocks to get better when it matters, when you get to World Cup qualifying, because what have we said, Jared? That everything was leading to this. It didn't matter if you beat somebody in a friendly. It didn't matter if you collected a Nations League trophy. It didn't matter if you won the Gold Cup. What matters is qualifying for the World Cup. Do you
think Mexico is mad that they don't have a Nations League or a Gold Cup trophy right now? They're sitting on 6 points after 2 games. They don't give a crap about those two pieces of silverware.
I was thinking about this late in the game. After they had given up the goal and it's 1-1, I'm like, damn it! I even loaded up, and I felt good about this for a moment. I even loaded up a little bit of this for Brendan Aronson. A kid who BA is the joke there. That's my thing. But a kid who obviously has grown into himself, gone over to Europe, made a name, came out of South Jersey, played for the Philadelphia. I was ready to celebrate tonight, and they give up the goal, and they can't find another one. And I was thinking, you know what? I don't care. Miles Robinson had a header over the top of the bar, right? Just at the end there on a corner kick. I don't care if it's a goal line scramble, a scrum. I don't care if somebody punches the ball in the net and they miss it, and because there's no VAR, they give us the goal. Just win the stupid game, because I just care about points. Right now, I know there was a question of like, what is their style? You don't have to have a style if you win right now. Although you should be building something, and really 2 years, you should be having some idea of what your style of play to win is. I don't care how you do it, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it.
I did see someone in the chat say that we're not Mexico. We don't fire a coach after 2 games. Maybe we should be.
Well, so this is the question, and I've always said, like, if you have something better lined up, or you're not, if removing the coach in charge is going to make you better, either through addition by subtraction, or you have somebody competent to come in, I'm all for making a change. I don't know that that's the case right now. You have to get to Wednesday. You're not doing anything before Honduras on Wednesday, unless you're going to hand off to an assistant coach, right? Unless you're going to say, okay, well, now we really don't like Greg Berhalter that much, so we're going to let an assistant coach that game. And by the way, Mexico won with an assistant coach on the sideline today because Tata Martino had to have eye surgery. So they have that.
Yeah, but
too.
let's bring this up real quick too, because we talked about the inexperience of this team. Weston McKennie, whatever it is he did, he knew he should have done ahead of time.
I'm not defending the kid for doing something dumb.
Crispy Churro right here saying, are we going to talk about the Adams foul that prevented a scoring chance? Literally, the guy played for himself in that moment. And I thought Tyler Adams had an amazing game. Best player on the field for us over the whole night. But these little types of mental immaturity moments are what are going to cost us at the end of this and when we look back. If these guys can't get on point, and I asked the question beforehand on Twitter before the game, who's the veteran that's going to sit Weston down and say, hey, you got to get your crap together? Who's going to be the veteran that's going to sit Tyler Adams and say, like, hey, you need to get your crap together. Your want to get a shoulder on a guy to get back at him may have cost us a goal. I don't know who that guy on this team is. Who's the guy that has the clout that can sit the two stars of this team down and tell them that they're not making good choices?
Wait, Jim is right. Kunzman did get fired after 2 games. The difference is that there were only 2 games in the window, so you were going into the next window and you had a clean break to make a change and bring in somebody who was sitting around ready for the call. Not sitting around ready. He was coaching the Galaxy, but Bruce would have taken that call. I don't know who takes the call right now. I don't think you would hand it to Bob Bradley, would you? Okay, we can talk about it. I know
the only guy that should be taking is Jesse Marsh, and he's not gonna. He's got a better gig.
No, he's not gonna do that. Randall from Florida, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up, Randall?
Guys, there's not enough liquor in the world to express how I feel right now.
I would imagine that a lot of people are in the same boat. Be careful, whatever you do, just don't operate any heavy machinery afterwards.
Oh, no, I'm at home. It's just all of my sports teams have lost today. My baseball team lost the game they should have won. My alma mater embarrassed itself on national television. I needed this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so frustrating. Again, the El Salvador game was so frustrating because we had built up to that moment. Now it's frustrating because you can legitimately be worried about missing the World Cup. And on Thursday, I said, I guarantee they're going to make the World Cup. Now I'm not so sure. No,
yeah, for the U.S., there was one game that maybe you could live with not winning at home. It was the Mexico game. You can maybe live with that because you know that's always sometimes that's up in the air. It wasn't the Canada game. Now, were we scared of the Canada game? Yeah, we were scared of the Canada games. We knew what they had. But you had a Canada game that didn't start Jonathan David and didn't start Buchanan. So the U.S. was given a gift in a certain respect in this matchup. And then when they came on the field, the U.S. failed to match the energy in the second half. And that's Greg Berhalter's fault. Yeah. For not making the substitutions early enough.
Yeah. Randall, you got anything else? I got other people waiting, so I got to let you go soon. But what you got?
2 questions. One, is Tyler Adams out for the next game due to yellow card accumulation?
No, I think that was his first one. I don't think he got one.
I thought he had one the other game as well. I thought he had one. Well, he didn't say anything on the broadcast though.
Well, okay, then maybe they missed it also, because if he did pick up a yellow card against El Salvador, then yes, he would miss the Honduras game.
But he's likely to rest anyway.
2, I legitimately think Honduras is going to dog walk us.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. By the way, Adams did not get a yellow in the El Salvador game. McKennie and Yedlin did. Okay. So Yedlin avoided one tonight, so he's available. All right. Appreciate the call, Randall.
You should have taken one on Davies on the breakaway.
Well, there were a couple. There were a couple of moments where, man, I don't know. All right, let's go to D from Tampa. D, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up, D?
Hey, what's up, guys? I guess my big thing is just the thing we've been sounding alarm since Greg's been hired. Because Greg was never a very good coach in MLS. He was kind of mid-level, if you would say. When he got hired by his best friend. We took a year to get a coach, and when we finally got a coach, it was a guy that was, I don't think it was even on a level to even become an assistant coach. And I think we are getting what most people, or some people thought we would be getting, and this is a mid-level team that's has outstanding players, but not a very good coach. And I think that's probably, obviously that's where it starts, and that's probably where it needs to stop, because how much longer can we go until people start wanting him to go? And then, I mean, I've been sounding alarm for this for almost a year.
All right,
now.
D. So this is the question. This is the question that Kyle asked in the chat just a couple seconds ago. That's fine, and we brought it up. Like, who is it? Jesse Marsh is not picking up the phone. But you're probably not getting Bob Bradley out of L.A. So who is it?
I don't get paid to do that. If I got paid to do that,
well, okay.
I had an Ernie Stewart's job. This is Ernie Stewart's pitch.
I do think that this reflects pretty badly on Ernie Stewart right now. D, I got other people. I'm going to let you go because your phone line's terrible. But
the only thing I can say about Bob Bradley, at least he's in the last year of his contract.
Here's what okay. Forget that for a second, because what has been thrown, and now Bob Bradley's got an MLS Cup title. He's got a supporter shield. He's coached the best team in MLS the last couple of years in terms of their overall regular season, but he's obviously struggling. You can see how difficult it is they won this weekend, but in the general sense of the season. If you fire Berhalter, and I'm not against firing Berhalter if you look like you're going to miss the World Cup, and right now, unless they beat Honduras, I'm going to be worried about it. You're going to be tapping into MLS ranks again? Like, you're going to go back to that well? There's only one, like, top of the mountain, great MLS head coach, and you already tried him and he missed the World Cup in 2018. So who else is out there? Brian Smetzer's not leaving the Seattle Sounders. You know, it used to be like, oh, Siggy should get a chance to coach the national team. Well, we don't have Siggy anymore. RIP. Brian Smetzer's not picking up the phone. He's got a sweet gig in Seattle. Who's the person? Oscar Pareja? You going to pry him out of Orlando? Who is it? Tell me who it is, because I don't know the answer.
People will lose it if it's Caleb Porter. I'll tell you right now, that guy could make the Olympics. They ain't going to get mixed this team. You know,
Jason Christ, he's not doing it much right now, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Jason Christ just got David Beckham's kid added to his roster for CF Fort Lauderdale or whatever the hell they're called. So
well, here's the other thing too. So Timothy Weah couldn't make the roster, right? So we came with 25 players instead of 26. Yeah. Now you lose to Reyna, and we just put a comment on the chat here.
Oh, by the way, they replaced Zach Steffen with Sean Johnson because you got to have 3 goalkeepers, but they haven't replaced anybody else.
So now you're down 2 wingers, and you can't, at this point, you only have 1 game left to go to Honduras. You can't pull a guy from Europe, right? You need to pull a domestic-based winger to go to Honduras with you, just in case you have another injury, for God's sakes.
I mean, that's the thing. The attrition here is crazy. Let's go to Brian on Long Island. What's up, Brian?
What's up, man? First time, long time. How you guys doing?
Well, I mean,
I could be better.
I could tell by the tone of your voice you're not too excited about what happened tonight.
No. I mean, like, I wasn't worried after I saw the Lord. You know, it just, the CONCACAF is hard to win away, but losing to Canada should not happen ever at home. I mean, who knows about a way, but at home it should just not happen. And
drawing. You're saying drawing shouldn't happen? Drawing against Canada at home?
Yeah, excuse me. Drawing, but it felt like a loss. Like
it did.
It's just it's really, it should not have happened, and you can't drop points at home, especially since in this region it is so hard to get away points. You just can't do it. So I don't know. I just really, I'm really.
Mexico did it.
So this is what sucks too, just in terms of a humbling point, right? Again, you beat Mexico twice this year for championships, whatever that means. We now have to hope that Mexico takes every possible point from every game. They've started out 6 points from 2 matches. Yeah. Let them win everything, because the more they win, the bigger the gap, the lower the number to qualify, right? And that's what we're hoping for.
We don't need to be first.
Too.
What'd you say, Brian?
And Costa Rica too. Costa Rica.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, Mexico wouldn't beat Costa Rica.
The window starts getting smaller, though. You'd like to hopefully.
Yeah, no, so they beat Panama in the first game, which is like that's not great for Panama.
Yeah,
but I just don't think they're going to win at Honduras, and they have not done well at San Pedro Sula, and I don't think Serginho Dest is going to have a good game there. Like, they have to have a totally different
that problem came up again, and he came off with the injury. Thanks for the call, Brian. He came off with the injury, Jared. I don't think he's going to play. So now not only wingers, but fullbacks. Are you down to DeAndre Yedlin is your only right back available? Andy Robinson was fine tonight, by the way. I was encouraged by his performance.
I think maybe the second best player on the honest behind Tyler Adams. So Andy Robinson looked really good out there. I think obviously the attack on the left side looks better with a left-footed natural player out there, not trying to fight with Pulisic on the inside line.
Sure, that okay. I'm talking more defensively for and then
defensively as well.
Obviously, Robinson set up the goal for Aronson, so eventually it did click. But there was like long stretches where Pulisic is dropping to the midfield stripe to try to pick up the ball and get touches. There's nobody running into the space left behind, like in front of him, or anybody trying to really stretch anything. Eventually, you got a couple of runs from Kellen Acosta, one from Sebastian.
Let's say Dest can't go. Let's say Dest can't go. You're not getting Shaq Moore over here midweek for a game in Honduras. Who's the MLS right back you're going to take? Julian Araujo's not. Who's the right back in MLS that you're going to take to this?
That's a good question. While we asked to think about that question, Ray in Milwaukee, you're on the air. What's up?
Well, my thing is, I think that there should be questions about all of this stuff from the suits who run U.S. soccer. We knew 4 years ago we were going to World Cup qualification with a very young group of Americans, and yet we did nothing to replicate World Cup qualification in the aspect of playing a Latin American country in Latin America and then playing a friendly in the United States. I think that's a massive mistake from the higher-ups from U.S. soccer. And I also disagree with some of these perspectives of it, that it's harder to qualify for World Cup qualification because these games are no longer played at the midday. I've been watching World Cup qualification since 1990, and one of the biggest differences now between then is that they no longer play midday games in Latin America, in Central America or the Caribbean because of the television money.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I mean, by the way, Honduras pushed kickoff. It's now a 10-something Eastern time kickoff for Honduras, so they'll be playing a night match there, obviously. Appreciate the call, Ray. Kyle Duncan is the only name I can think of, Jerry. That's the only one that comes to mind.
Do you play George Bello out of position?
You ask the
Atlanta people. You could start Kellen Acosta there. You could. But that means you have to rest Tyler Adams, though. He's played 2 90-minute games.
Well, you may be asking Tyler Adams to play as a right back in that game. You may have to. And I don't know what you do with the central. I mean, Leggett, Roldan, and Acosta.
Do you play Jimmy Sands? You play Jimmy Sands out there? You play Jimmy Sands, play a 3-back system. Then you're talking about something a little bit different.
Man, I don't know. Let's go to Cam in New Hampshire. Cam, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up?
Hey, guys, calling in from the parking lot of Nissan Stadium.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cam dropped everything to go to the game, and he gets that. Cam, you got handed a pile of crap. I'm sorry about that.
Fresh turd.
Oh, I'm pissed, guys. I came on Thursday, and I promised we'd get 3 points, and then that frickin' happened. I didn't like the roster. I'm not DEFCON 1. I'm not firing Greg yet, but I'm placing some calls. You know who I'm calling? You know who knows how to turn around these things around? Sam Allardyce.
Oh, my Lord. That's a hot take.
No, that's
a hot take.
No. I'll quit the national team.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking.
Okay.
That's almost as hot as the steaming turd that they dropped in your lap today.
You know what? Look, no, I had a thought. I can't do it. I was gonna say there is somebody, sitting there, occasionally doing TV hits about this team, and I'm just. I don't know. He's out there,
dude. You can't go back to the X. You can't go back to the X.
Is he still on the payroll? Like, can we?
Someone mentioned in the chat. What about Arsene Wenger?
Arsene
Wenger picked up the phone.
What about Sir Alex? Are we going to bring wheelchairs to the side of the sideline? Like, what? No. Come on, guys.
Well, okay. Look, I think Arsene Wenger is still ambulatory or whatever, but No. The problem is the problem is you need. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Should we wait on this, or should I be talking about who the replacement's going to be? Right? Should I Should I be doing this? Should we be having a real conversation about what's
the question
available?
Is it time to put Greg on the hot seat? If it is, how do you do that? You start talking about who the replacements are. The fan base starts talking about this.
DEFCON 2. DEFCON 2, the seats stand pretty damn hot. DEFCON 2, we are one bad result away from DEFCON 1. And DEFCON 1 means you hit the button and you fire off the missiles and you blow everything up because you have gotten it wrong. We have to start over.
A draw at Honduras. What is the DEFCON 1 at that point?
A draw at Honduras is purgatory. A draw at Honduras is the worst. Look, obviously
You're
losing Honduras is
only 2 points behind your goal.
I know, but it would feel like such a. It would feel like a bonus point because we dropped points tonight.
Yes. What if we lose at Honduras? If we lose at Honduras, it's easy then. Craig Berhalter is not the coach anymore. If you lose at Honduras, that is easy. Okay. The hard decision is what if you tie.
That I think if you tie, he's staying on because you don't blow it up if you're not in a desperate situation, and I don't think 3 points represents complete desperation yet. Cam, I got to let you go. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
thanks, Cam.
You know what? So pull up Raymond's comment here, because this may be where you have to go. This may be what you have to do.
Let's read out for the podcast listeners. If you're talking about realistic options to replace the U.S. men's national team coach, one name comes to mind, and that's Javier Aguirre. Has experience coming in the middle of qualification. Yeah, he knows the teams in this region too.
He's a CONCACAF guy. I guarantee you, he's been paying attention, and he knows this U.S. team. Absolutely, I'm sure he's doing television in Mexico. I mean, I don't know what Javier Aguirre is doing right now. I really haven't been following his career. Man, again, it is so difficult to even stomach this at this point. And this is what it is, right? So making a change is a traumatic shakeup of the system. Mexico's done it in the past, and it's worked out for them. Bryson says you can't be scared to make a change. The man just isn't getting it done while also standing around in Jordans on grass watching and doing nothing. And as you said at the very top of the program, Jared, the substitutes make no sense. It takes that long to pull the trigger. The
timing doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I saw someone on Twitter say that it is malpractice. Like putting it on Neil Blackman from Yanks Abroad. Yanks are coming. Neil Blackman said that was malpractice waiting that long for the substitutes. And especially when you see Canada bring on Jonathan David and Tajon Buchanan, you have got to respond then. If you see them get off the bench and start getting ready to go check in, you get your guys up and you get them ready because you don't have the legs to keep up with those players. Now, luckily, they didn't create the goal that was going to beat the United States, because if they had lost tonight, we would be talking about DEFCON 1 and Greg Berhalter being gone. The other thing I want to ask before I get back to these calls, and we'll get to you guys, do you believe, and I guess this comes down to Brian McBride, Ernie Stewart, do you believe they have the guts to do it? Do you believe
I think Ernie Stewart does. I think Ernie Stewart's cold. I think he's cold. I think he could do it in a second. I think if Ernie Stewart really thinks that this team won't qualify, he'll pull the trigger. If they win at Honduras, he's gonna keep the job. That it's easy. This game at Honduras, you win, you keep. You lose, you're gone. You tie. That's when Ernie Stewart's going to make a subject call. And I'm not sure. He's going to bring Gibraltar and talk to him, and I'm not sure what that conversation. How do you save that? You say, you know what? I never got all three of my best players on the field at the same time in any of these three games. Win without them.
No. You have to win. It doesn't matter. You have to win. You have to figure out a way to balance your roster, to cover for your potential losses, to deal with the injuries. I understand. No one's done this before, 3 games in a week. But you know what? Mexico's picking up points. Other nations have more points than the United States. Canada's got 2 points. Now, I know they drew against Honduras at home, and that was disappointing for them, but they got their bonus point tonight. So you are now in a position where you've pulled Canada into your realm of competing for a spot. Let's go to Alistair from Missouri. Alistair, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Hold on 1 second.
Us or the person in the room with you?
Are you getting pizza? What's happening?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you, Alistair. Go ahead.
Okay, then. Here's the thing. What's going to happen is that the press here in the United States are the ones that's going to have to put Berhalter on fire. You got to put his feet on fire, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to make changes.
So there's a question about this. I don't want to get Alistair, I don't want to get all super meta about this, right? Because I had Jared, did you know that I have a radio show? I wasn't sure if you were aware of the radio show
about it.
Okay.
WNBC. WNBC.
I had Landon Donovan on my show on Friday after the draw against El Salvador. The first thing he came on and said was, if anybody thought that was going to be easy and that they were going to walk away with 3 points, you don't know anything about CONCACAF. And I'm like,
I can live with that. I can live with that.
Landon Donovan said it? Fine, absolutely. That is understandable. And I asked Landon at one point because I had seen the comments, right? And I am, for whatever my position is, I do a radio show, I'm entertainment, I come at it from a fan perspective. I'm not sitting there being like the top of the journalistic integrity hill. That's not necessarily me. I have more than Jared Dubois. I don't make the
Big
jokes
J.
he does. But yeah, I'm there. I recognize that I have that position. So I asked him, do you think we are too easy on this team and on the coaches? Are we too, is this a situation where the media is complicit in letting them get away with stuff? Because I don't know that that's, even if that might be true in the sense that the media is not super harsh, I don't know what the media is going to achieve. Like, so Alistair, you really think there's enough people in this country who can make enough noise that U.S. Soccer goes, oh my God, we have to make a change? Because I don't think that's the case. They're not on ESPN calling for Greg Berhalter's head. Skip Bayless isn't saying anything about Greg Berhalter, and probably won't, except for maybe 5 seconds to boost the soccer ratings on Fox Sports. I don't think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and that's why I kind of wish that Taylor Twellman was on ESPN First Take, replacing Max Kellerman, because I think, if you get like a Stephen A. Smith, who's the biggest loudmouth is
that what we want? We want Stephen A. calling for Berhalter to get.
Oh, I tell you what, he'll be.
This is what I'm talking about
right now.
Hold on, Alistair, I got to run. This is what I'm talking about. The media here is soft. Explain that to me. What does that mean? What do you mean the media here is soft? I want to know.
What does that mean? You mean?
Okay, what
there's
does it mean?
a whole wing what's the biggest soccer media company in the United States?
What do you mean? I don't
MLS.
Oh yeah, for sure.
MLS.
Yeah.
Are they really going to call out the national team at the level that they need?
Hold on.
They need to.
Hold on. If you're going to paint everybody with the MLS soccer.com brush, I'm going to have a problem with you, okay? And then if you say they're soft, okay, fine. U.S. Soccer, MLS, they're in bed together. Does that cause a problem? Are those guys over there who we like as individual people, are they therefore pulling their punches? Is Matt Doyle pulling his punch? I mean, I don't know if this is going to be back to those guys. I don't think Matt Doyle pulls his punches. I don't think Matt Doyle pulls his punches. Shout out to Doyle and Wiebe and Goss and all those people. I know you guys are doing work. Are they pulling their punches? All right, so what about everybody else? There is no, what I'm telling you, right? And I do a daily radio show about American soccer, right? It's behind a paywall on a streaming or on a satellite radio service. It's the best we can do for sort of daily American soccer talk. I'm damn happy I have my job. I love my job. I'm excited to do it every day. I'll be less excited tomorrow than usual, but I'm excited to do my job every day. But I recognize, like, they're not getting on regular radio. They're not going on television and yelling about American soccer. So when you say the press is soft, that's nonsense.
I'll say a little bit differently.
Power.
Greg Berhalter tomorrow is going to walk down.
Sorry.
My opinion, I think in MLS press, some of the guys up there are a little soft, in my opinion.
Who? Name names, Alistair, because I want to know. Who?
Well, Alexi Lawless's brother sometimes,
Is he even in the media anymore?
He's not. Okay, so I'm going to let Alistair go. Greg Lawless no longer works for MLSsoccer.com, okay? So let's just put that out there right now.
But here's what I was going to say. I get that it's the media thing, but what the media gets people hyped. And here's the difference between Greg Berhalter and every other coach in CONCACAF. Tomorrow, Greg Berhalter is going to walk down the streets of Milwaukee Avenue in Chicago or Nashville. He's going to be in Nashville tomorrow. He's going to walk down to Nashville, and not a single person is going to spit on his shoes. His nice Jordans. Not a single person is going to spit on him because they're angry at him. And every other coach in CONCACAF is going to worry about that.
He got spotted jogging before the game today. That was all over my Instagram. I saw pictures of Greg Berhalter jogging.
Nice.
People were like,
but tomorrow, if he goes jogging tomorrow, if he was a Mexican coach in Mexico, someone would be pissing on his shoes as he tried to do it.
And this is I'm going to move off of this topic because this is nonsense media critique that I don't think actually has anything to do with this team right now. Robert says the guys asking questions at the post-game press conference should make it uncomfortable. How do you mean? Like, they should ask loaded questions? I'm positive.
Greg, are you worried about your job?
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will. And I hope somebody does ask that one. I hope that somebody asks about the substitutes. I know they will, right? So what I'm saying is there are journalists who will ask pointed questions, but they're not going to stand up and go, "You're terrible. You need to be fired. U.S. soccer is terrible, is in a bad place because of." That's not journalism, right? That's not the job that they are doing. Now, if you want them to do that, I'm sorry, move to a different country. Like I'm not El Chiringuito TV is not happening here, right? So I don't know what we are asking for. If we want the media to apply pressure, you damn straight I'm going to go on the radio tomorrow and say everything I'm saying right now, and I'm going to try to get guests to come on, and I'm going to ask them questions, and I'm going to ponder the possibility that Greg Berhalter might be on the hot seat, and I'm going to talk about how bad his decision-making was in that game, and what and people are still going to say, oh, nobody holds U.S. soccer accountable, nobody holds the U.S. men's national team accountable, nobody calls the coach to task when he screws up.
By the way, I'm not telling Cam in Nashville to go pee on Greg Berhalter's shoes tomorrow. I'm just saying, like, he's not worried about it. I'm just saying Greg's not worried about it. That's
you're not saying. You're saying don't do that.
I'm saying don't do that. I'm saying don't do that and say we're told to do it here. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Tyler from Jersey, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, thanks. I'm so happy to be here. I just have, this whole thing about the media that I just heard. I mean, let's be real. This is such nonsense. But, like, the reality is that in a couple of nights, the U.S. is going to go to Honduras. So now, after that Canada game, how do you get a result in Honduras? Because let me tell you something. The U.S., if that game in Honduras is scoreless into the 60th minute, I think we lose. I mean, there's just no urgency.
Okay. Yeah, and it's not like the energy level is going to go up when you're in San Pedro Sula, right? I don't know what the weather is right now, but I guess even at 8:00 at night, it's not going to be, cold. It's not going to be nice and temperate. So their energy level, which again, I thought that the energy was okay at points tonight, but there was no ideas.
I think there were times. Right? I mean, it was it was a much better performance than in El Salvador. It really was.
Sure.
It was a way better performance than El Salvador. But you're also at home. You're at home and you're expected to play better and you're expected to get a result. So it's just not good enough still. And this team has failed to score more than one goal in their last, 6 games or something like that? How far back do we have to go?
God, you guys are pissing me off. This is not true, okay? This is not true. Whatever. This is a Jason moves off topic.
It's in a chat.
It pisses me off because this is about my integrity as the guy who does the radio show. Whatever you want to call me, a journalist, a broadcaster, a radio host. This is nonsense. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, Tyler. And I'm worked up because of the result, because it was bad, because it was poor. And again, I will be on the radio tomorrow. Little Kid Gaming, great name. I'll be on the radio tomorrow saying exactly the same things I'm saying here, right? And I will call Greg Berhalter to task, and I'll say that the players weren't good enough, and where were the substitutes, and all those same things. So come to me tomorrow when I'm on the radio talking about this stuff, okay? All right. Let's Tyler, go ahead. What's up?
Okay. So here's one thing, though, that I can just take away from the last 2 games, right? When you look back to the game in El Salvador, and I know it was bad and everything, that we didn't get a win. I mean, it was a positive result. But the one thing I will give the U.S. credit for is they came out early and they attacked. And let me tell you something. If you go to Honduras and if you can get an opening goal in the first 10 minutes right there, that changes the game. Because
why would you believe that that's possible? Why would you believe that that's possible is my problem.
I'll tell you why. Miles Robinson almost did it in El Salvador.
Awesome.
Okay. Off a set piece, you're right. If we can get those opportunities, press them. Yes. Go ahead.
I mean, if you can get a goal early on, it changes the game. But I'll tell you something. Today against Canada, I did not see any urgency within the first 15 minutes by the U.S. to do anything. But what I did see is I saw Canada pushing forward. And let me tell you something. If Canada had gotten a goal there, and they almost had one, I mean, very close there. If they've gotten one, we need to talk about how the U.S. lost 3-0 tonight.
And we also hit the post. These things happen. There's going to be these things in every game.
I don't like this counterfactual. I tweeted about this the other day. I think it's hilarious when people do this counterfactual thing where they're like, man, if the other team just learned how to cross better, it would be 6-0. Yeah, but they don't know how to cross better. And that's a part of the game. Like that factor is maybe giving crosses up was part of the deal for team A against team B. We can't do that thing where you switch a team into being good at something they're not good at and then say, well, it would have been 6-0. That's true for the United States as well. Like if we had a decent finisher, if we had a center forward that can that could get on the end of something, the United States might win that game more comfortably. I don't know, right? There are problems with the personnel and Greg Berhalter's deployment of the personnel, Jared. So there are the inefficiencies in this. Like you can have Tyler Adams buzzing around midfield and doing a ton of work, and that's great, and he puts out fires. But if you don't turn those transition moments into attacking opportunities, and I'm screaming at my television, run, make a run, somebody make a run, or press. Where are the pressing triggers? There were one moment in the first 10 minutes when Canada had a little bit of a bobble on the sideline. There are 3 Americans in the area, and they pressed the ball and turned it into an opportunity, or turned it into at least an attacking chance of moving the ball forward before it broke down. But we just didn't see enough of that, right?
Okay, but let's analyze what Berhalter did in this game. Did he make any wrong decisions with the starting 11?
Did he make?
I think this was the starting 11 he should have put out, to be honest with you.
Okay, I think you could have started Yedlin instead of Dest after what happened in El Salvador. But I guess if you think if you're gonna have the ball, you think Dest. And Dest did. Look, Dest eliminated defenders 4 or 5 times off the dribble, and I get that's why you do that. But then there wasn't connection at the front end. Once he did those things, where was the finished product? Where was the actual resolution to turn it into a chance?
The thing might be that players that you need to get what you're asking for aren't on this roster. We may not have the players to make those.
Hold on. So again, is Berhalter gets to say, "Oh, I don't have the players for it," or does he need to change how he's playing? Does he need to be more direct? Does he need to play? What does he need to do? What areas of the game does he need to change to make use of the players he has? And again, I've said this before. It's my main criticism of Greg Berhalter. He overthinks. He wants to do it his way, and he forces everything to the point where he just until it can't work, and then he has to make a change. He should be making it simpler, especially right now. All right, there's lots of calls, and I keep going on. Bill in Missouri, you're on the air. What's up?
Yeah, hey, great show. I just want a little story. So my wife and I watch Ted Lasso with this other couple. They're not soccer fans, but we watch Ted Lasso with them every week. I said, hey, come over to our house to watch this World Cup qualifier. You know, learn a little bit about soccer. And I was telling them about the special players on both teams. I was telling them about Alphonso Davies and what a special player he is. And I was telling them about Christian Pulisic. And I said, you know, that's the team Roy Kent used to play for before he went to Richmond. And only one of those special players showed up. You know, and it was very clear to them, the non-soccer fans, that Alphonso Davies was doing something special on the pitch, and he created that goal. And it was apparent even to them, the non-soccer fans, and this is just a little thing, but I think it's emblematic of how poor the U.S. was. All of our free kicks and corner kicks sucked.
That was a waste.
Even the basic things, put a decent free kick into the box, they all sucked. And
you're wrong on that.
Greg Berhalter was to blame.
What is he wrong about?
They didn't all suck. There were a couple of corner kicks that were.
There were a
number of corner kicks that were good and were very dangerous. Now,
there were a
did
couple.
They play
there
some stupid short corners that Berhalter keeps insisting on doing? Yeah. Sure, that's absolutely accurate. But there were a number of dangerous balls off corners tonight, and I think that's a misnomer the way he's saying. I think it was unfair.
Okay. I think it was a mixed bag. I'm going to let Bill go. There was a mixed bag. It didn't start well. Pulisic service, it wasn't great. There was a 35-yard free kick he put on target. It shouldn't have been. That should not have been the move in that situation. I mean, I think if you have those set-piece opportunities, you have to, you know, they're precious, especially when you have a player like Miles Robinson who can get on the end of something, who nearly did. I will say this about Pulisic. I don't think Pulisic was bad. I think Pulisic did a ton of work. I think he tried everything possible to bring his teammates in, but he is absolutely going to be bracketed the entire match, and they are going to knock him to the ground. And look, I'm not. Were you frustrated with Pulisic's positioning, dropping deep to pick the ball up?
Because if he's not getting it, he has to do what he can do to get himself on the ball.
Right. I think that was a dysfunction of the system, or maybe they wanted him to drop deep so he could pick his head up, but there weren't runners come in front of him. And certainly Canada was playing, you know, their lines were very tight and well organized, and they were squeezing the space there, and there really weren't a lot of passing lanes. So if you're not moving bodies through runs in behind,
And this is a good point by Jackie here. She says Pulisic has to drop to the back line to find the game. Hoppy had to do the same thing in the Gold Cup. It's a system issue. It's a good point. How many times do we see Hoppy do the same thing, go all the way back to try to grab the ball before he moved upfield?
My question is, is that a system issue, or is that what Berhalter wants, and he's looking for other players to make runs ahead of Pulisic?
I mean, if you want to change the shape of the game, I guess that's something you could do. You could also switch the field. I mean, I think there's simpler ways to change the shape of the offense.
The switches were atrocious again. This is something they really struggle with, is switches. I think there were a couple of decent ones to Andy Robinson, but largely they could not figure out how to get, and this happened in El Salvador too, they can't get the opponent to move enough to create that space. And then against Canada, your problem is once you switch, and I think John Brooks played a couple of these lofted balls trying to switch. One of them worked to Leggett, but the rest of them were kind of bad. Yeah. And if those are cut out, if those are picked off, what happens going the other way when you're facing Canada, right?
Anthony
Davis, now you have Alphonso
Davies is running at you. Yeah.
Now, and so when he says people could, Alphonso Davies is special, Pulisic is not. Again, I think they're very different players who are being asked to do very different things. And when you are sitting back and bunkering in, and the United States has the ball and they are sloppy with it, Alphonso Davies is going to get opportunities.
Well, the way that Berhalter wants to play plays right into Alphonso Davies' best strengths, which is the right fullback is exposed by going forward. Then you get at the center back and pull him out wide. That is the game is set up for him in that.
And here's, you play with fire, right? So for 95% of the game, and there were a couple of other moments, but for most of that match, when Alphonso Davies found himself in space, who was there? Who was stuck to him like glue for most of that game up until he found the goal, until he set up the goal? Do you remember?
Tyler Adams was most of the time sweeping out there.
Tyler Adams. That's what you're asking Tyler Adams to do. Tyler Adams, be this incredible ground-eating dynamo, go out and knock Alphonso Davies off the ball. And he did a great job of it, but there is always going to be a moment in the game, right, that those things happen and Tyler Adams can't get back. All right, Alex in Albuquerque, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up?
Hey, Jason, a couple points. Thanks for having me on. I thought the crowd in Nashville set the tone for the game. It was horrible. I've been to soccer qualifying games in Seattle and in Columbus, and where the crowd just was vibrant and enthusiastic. When you have Christian Pulisic trying to edge the crowd and support the team, I thought that was horrible. I don't know why U.S. Soccer Federation ever picked Nashville when you had Seattle and a rabid, huge stadium, which would have filled up with 60,000 fans. I remember going there in 2014, and it was electrifying the entire game. As far
you
as
want to go 100 miles from the Canadian border?
I'm not going to get into this. This isn't the issue. I mean, I understand some frustration with maybe a fan, the noise in the stadium not being what we really want. There were 40,000 people there. There weren't that many Canadians. I don't know what it sounded like in the building. I know I'm watching on a stream. It is what it is. That's not why they lost, right? They didn't lose because they played in Nashville. And going to Seattle, where you would have to lay down temporary grass because they don't do turf qualifiers, at least the U.S. Soccer doesn't. That's not an answer either, Alex. I'm sorry. I don't mean to kill your whole point, but I don't think that's
this team gave them nothing to cheer about. Let's be honest with it. But maybe I know there's lots of supporters out there, like their job is as supporters to be there no matter what, to carry the team, to lift them up when they're down. But at the same time, after about 85 minutes of this shit, like what do you I have a hard time cheering for this team.
Yeah. No, I think that's part of it. Alex, you got anything else before I let you go?
No, I appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for your point.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to crap all over his point. I just don't think that that's the issue. You can play this game. You can play this game in a stadium 2 feet from the Canadian border. It's not an excuse if you lose or draw. Sorry, at home. It's not an excuse. It's just not. I mean, you want to manipulate the situation to get the most home field advantage possible. I get that. That's why we were so worked up about the idea of playing Mexico and Cincinnati. Is that going to be the right kind of environment? It's a pretty big stadium as soccer stadiums go, and it's in the same area as Columbus. Maybe it'll be the magic touch, but they have to be better. The team has to be better if they're going to beat Mexico in Cincinnati. I don't know if it's going to happen now because of some stuff in my house, but I was just this close to booking a trip to Austin to see them play Jamaica. Now, Jamaica crapped the bed tonight. They were bad. They got beat by Panama at home, so maybe that's the game when they get their joy back, the U.S. men's national team. But now I'm not sure. Like, should I go to Austin for that game? Would I want to be in that stadium? Are we gonna knock the ball around for 85 minutes and not be able to find anything? And when we do score, give one right back? Like, ugh. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Luis in Jersey. Luis, you're on the Best Soccer Show.
Hey guys, long time. great show like always.
Thanks.
I don't think Berhalter is going anywhere. His brother won't fire him, for one thing.
His brother's
Just a
not
couple
there
quick
anymore.
points.
Yeah, he's not there anymore, bud.
His brother's not there anymore.
Yeah. Well, just joking about that. But
Oh,
like I
okay,
said,
okay.
just a couple of good points. Was that Brooks taking a set piece?
He was
I didn't
going
understand
to.
that.
He was going to.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
they had some
interesting.
routine, and it didn't obviously work out. Yeah, I mean that was such a small moment in that game.
Yeah, that was Berhalter pulling out the Ted Lasso like trick play to try to. It's the only thing he had left.
Yeah. By the way, let's since we have moved away from the game a little bit, we're talking Pulisic. We're talking attack is the issue because and I know that maybe Brooks and Robinson fell asleep, but I don't know. Did they miss a run? I mean, who's picking up Laren?
You
I don't
can say
know.
that Brooks should have finished that run and finished that mark. Maybe he also thought he was going to go offside with that run. But at the end of the day, this U.S. team has given up 1 goal in their last 5 games.
Yeah.
And the last goal they gave up for that was a penalty. It's the defense isn't the problem, despite the fact that part of the defense is the offense, and that's a problem for us in Serginho Dest and whoever's going to be the other fullback. But the real issue is the fact that this team can't score goals.
Yeah.
And until they fix that, we're going to have problems.
Yeah, and Pulisic it's unfair to ask Pulisic. By the way, after the game, Pulisic right now at the podium, we need new ideas at times. We didn't test them enough. We couldn't break them down. It obviously wasn't good enough. That's the thing. Where are the ideas? Who's going to be the guy? And since doesn't seem to be, I saw somebody say that they need a secondary playmaker. And they do, because Pulisic is going to be the focus of all the attention defensively when he's on the ball. And they are clogging things up. And he can only dribble so many guys, right? And he'll run out of real estate. And it's just, and again, if you can't find lanes to make runs for him to slip you in, well, what are we doing? It's just Pulisic dancing on the ball and doing nothing. So who's the other person to unlock things? How does that look? Obviously, in this situation with the goal tonight, let's just look back at it. Aronson wins the ball. It gets played into Pifok, who plays it out to Robinson, who plays it across for Aronson. And the whole thing is 4 passes, 1 move, takes about 5 seconds to pull off, and they go quick and they go fast. And they obviously found a way to press and win the ball and transition. If that's the way they are going to score goals, well, then adjust, right? Find a way. Maybe you need to press in midfield in the middle third of the field at a higher rate.
You can't press in midfield when Tyler Adams is covering Alphonso Davies at the right back position. Like you can't press in midfield if you need Tyler Adams to constantly cover that area of the field.
Well, so here it is. I mean, obviously Giovanni Reina was a big miss. Not having him was an issue. Luis, you got anything else?
And hopefully DK will be ready for the next round of qualifier, because I don't think our forwards are doing much.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm far more interested in Ricardo Pepi right now than I am in Daryl DK, to be honest with you.
I don't think Pepi has a refined game, but I also think that you are now at a point where you can't think about it in those terms.
Yep.
You need to find somebody who knows how to put the ball in the net. It is now, see goal, score goal. Big dumb guy. I'm not
when
calling
that one
Pepi
ball
dumb.
drops and 16 yards from goal, and someone that can finish even if it's on a bounce, and we don't have that right now.
Yeah. All right, let's work our way through the rest of these calls. Frank in the OC. Frank, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, listen, I might be in the minority here, but I'll just get out of the way that the U.S. they're just not going to be Honduras away, okay? I mean, come on, let's be realistic.
Keep going. I'm waiting.
No, here's the thing. One of the things that I've noticed is that the nations in CONCACAF, they're getting better. And what I noticed from watching the Mexico game earlier is that Mexico is having to adapt to like the new CONCACAF. Because if you watch Mexico's games, they only beat Costa Rica because of a penalty kick. And their last game, they only won that game out of a last-minute goal. So realistically, this side of the world is getting better, and I don't think the U.S. is adapting to it. And not only that, but here's the thing: I believe that, yeah, sure, it's good to go to countries like Germany and France and compete against the best, but we also need players who can compete in CONCACAF, in Honduras, in Mexico, because from what I'm seeing, yeah, on paper we might be better, but guess what? The players on the other side, they are used to these conditions. This is their house. Okay.
Again, what we're maybe not doing enough of. Appreciate the call, Frank. What we're maybe not doing enough of, and this, I don't know if this is true against El Salvador. I mean, I think I wanted to give El Salvador credit. And we go back and forth. There's a swinging pendulum. It's like, well, that's just El Salvador. You're supposed to crush them. Look at your pedigree. You've got guys in the Champions League. All the way to the other side of, oh, you've completely disrespected El Salvador. That's a pretty decent team who's made a lot of progress under Hugo Perez. Give them credit, because you shouldn't expect to walk into El Salvador and grab 3 points just because of the United States. Okay, well, where's the truth? Somewhere in the middle, right? And Canada. Okay, Canada's improved, right? Canada looks better than they have in the years past. They made the final round. Yes, an expanded field, but you have talent. I mean, David and Tejan Buchanan and Alfonso David and Estacio impresses me every time I see him. These are good players. So was that, well, the United States crapped the bed and they really have nobody but to blame but themselves? Or, man, Canada's pretty good, and we got to give them credit too, because it's hard. Like, if you want to be critical of the team, it kind of eliminates Canada from the equation a little bit, because we all are of the belief that the United States should beat Canada at home, right?
All right, worst take of the night right here. Orlando G, I'm sorry, Big, I call you out, dude. Brooks is flawed. The only good thing he's done is score that one goal in World Cup in 2014. I hope that's sarcasm.
Yeah, I hope that's sarcasm too. John Brooks is not the issue. All right, there's 3 calls. We're going to get to all of them, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
The question earlier was who's the Timmy Chandler of this group? I think we have a team of Timmy Chandlers.
We have a lot. We have several Timmy Chandlers.
I know, Alice, I'm sorry, I'll give you 1 second. Listen, if we couldn't rise to the occasion with a bunch of inexperienced guys away at El Salvador, I was prepared for that.
Yeah.
But I can't support this tonight.
Allison went to the game. Allison, you're on the air. What's up? Allison, are you there? How many beers have you had?
I am here. So, a lot. So, coming to you guys from after the game, so the after party. First off, this is BS. Like, this was awful. This was like uncomfortable to watch. Like, I was there and it was still uncomfortable to watch. I don't. Why? Like, how is it this bad? How do we not have a cohesive and even mildly cohesive team? Like, you guys know, I never call. I am that upset that I'm calling.
Well, Allison, what's the mood at the after quote unquote party? Like, how sad is that party now?
No, it is super sad because there isn't even a damn party at this point. We always have a party afterwards. There is no party now. Like, everyone's just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess everyone's going their own direction.
Yeah, I imagine
just like the U.S. team. Just like the U.S. team, everyone's going their own direction.
Yeah. Everybody's going their own direction. Yeah, no cohesion in the group, no cohesion in the team. Allison, all right, parting words.
It's really what it is. Parting words. This sucks. This absolute sucks. I cannot think of any way to talk about it other than this sucks. Watching it, being there, just all of it.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, Allison.
Right. Love you guys.
Thank you, Allison.
I don't think anyone can sum it up better than Allison just now. It sucked.
This sucks. Let's go to James in Tucson. James, you're on the Best Soccer Show.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
So, I'm trying to take a deep breath here. I'm trying to do my best to calm things down. I think it's surprising to me when I tune on Fox and I see ex-professionals say things like, it looks like a group of individuals out there. I mean, this is the nature of national team soccer. I don't know if anyone.
Well,
if this
okay.
is news to people, but
Sure, James.
No, guys, listen.
Okay.
I get it. I get the frustration, and I'm not. First of all, I'm not making any excuses. I'll get into that, and I'll be as quick as I can. But the point I want to make first of all is that it is not a surprise. The fact that this looks like a group of individuals is. I watched Portugal play Ireland the other week. Portugal, a group of players, Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. They were losing 1-0 up until the end of the game. They looked awful. And moment of brilliance by one of the greatest players of all time. And but
yes,
the fact of the matter is this happens all the time. Some of the best teams in the world. And when you see this type of situation, though, I think, when you see a team not working at the national team level, because they're not a team, they don't play together all the time, I think it comes down to the manager. I think it comes down to the tactical game plan, because you don't have time outside of a big tournament. And you need to have the team, you need to make it simple. You need to have a strategy that isn't overly complex, that's going to get the job done. And to me, the biggest thing about Greg Berhalter is he's been appointed the national team manager, and he's talked about these big projects, these big ideas, wanting to play this elaborate way that's built out of the back originally. And he has this aura about him where he wants to be this tactical mastermind. You're a national team coach. You need to get results. It's not overly complicated. And it is a group of individuals. It is an all-star team. You have these players together for 2 weeks. You can't, and I see it on Fox, they're talking about, it's surprising that, the group in the summer works, but this group seems like they're not gelling, because yes, it's a different group, and that's how it's going to be with the national team. And it's the same with other countries. So to me, and this isn't differentiating from a lot of the comments, it's just, I'm not really surprised by it. I mean, I think we've seen this naivety from Berhalter for 2 years now, where it just seems like he is favoring this overly elaborate approach over just a simple, practical way of approaching it.
Yeah, it sounds like things I've said several times, because I have said those things several times, and I agree with you completely, James. And look, I appreciate the call. That's a great call from James. I mean, I'm hitting the ding because, again, I think I said 45 minutes ago that you cannot be complicated. You cannot overthink this. You need to simplify. Simplify. Greg Berhalter needs that little Japanese lady who comes to your house and declutters everything. Does this give you joy? Does your complicated...
Wait. How does he simplify, though? Because the simplest thing is just to hoof it up the field and see what happens. What do you want him to do to simplify?
I think he needs to drop any notion of this is our style, these are our patterns. He needs to let guys figure it out. He needs to, I mean, you obviously need to have some.
Assuming they're overcoached, though. We're assuming they're overcoached in that. I don't know that they're overcoached. They don't look like they're coached.
Well, okay, but that's the thing. I think paralysis sets in, or an uncertainty about what to do sets in.
He could be the greatest con man ever. He says all these cool things and then doesn't do any of them, for all I know. These guys could be walking like, dude, can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy's saying out there? He ain't telling us nothing.
This is the second regime in a row where U.S. soccer has fallen into the trap of, we want to advance our program, and we want to join the elites of the world, and we want to play like Spain 2010.
The beautiful game.
A beautiful game. Bring us the beautiful game. And they hired Jurgen Klinsmann because he had this, he played in Germany and he played in England and he knows the beautiful game, and he has this European cachet, and he didn't do any of that because he wasn't interested. And by the way, he played some pretty ugly soccer, but they were successful. I mean, I don't think that at times they were successful. I don't think he was a good coach. And I think that he didn't simplify things in a way that was effective. I think he just didn't coach at all. That was the thing. And then we obviously miss out on the World Cup after Bruce Arena comes in and can't fix it, or doesn't fix it on the final day, if you want to say it that way. And they turn to a guy with a decent and to middling MLS resume and not a whole lot more. But he is a thinker. He is a Pep Guardiola student. He follows the trends and the way that the game is played. bring us the beautiful game. And they wanted to do it with Berhalter. And he gives them what they want. And now you're finding out if it can work, it can't work with this group.
There's more style in Berhalter's feet than there is in his team.
That is exactly the truth. That is exactly the truth. All right, Jacob from New York, you're on the air. What's up?
How you guys doing? I think, am I the closing call? Is that, I think I did my counting right there.
Well, there's a couple people waiting that I'm not sure we're going to. I mean, we don't have a time to get off, except that I'm just frustrated. I might have a heart attack on the air. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, big venting session right now. Yeah, I have to kind of agree with the last caller. I think Greg Berhalter, and I totally agree with your point. I think he says a lot more than he actually implements. I mean, tactically, he looks very inept today. If he wants to implement this kind of free-flowing style in terms of building up from the back, it completely fails because it seems that most of our attacks were generated from shooting the ball upfield and hoping for a decent touch by Keith Walker or Aronson getting out of speed, or we get the full assist and we do something. And I think that if we are going to compete at a higher level like we wanted to, if you even want to get out of CONCACAF, we need to have a better tactical profile. So I don't know what you mean by really simplifying things. Does that mean sort of, really double down? Because it looked like Tony Kulis was coaching out there, in all honesty. I watched a lot of Stoke City. That literally was like from,
I don't think that's what it was. They weren't trying to smother Canada. They were at least trying. I mean, they were trying to advance the ball and just not finding any way to do it. Again,
when you have a weapon like Alphonse,
go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
I disagree with you. I think our best attack came from when we either gave Pulisic or Dest the ball and we hoped that they beat a man and opened up space, or played it around the back and booted the ball up. And I think that if you want to use that profile, I don't think we're going to be able to compete at more the World Cup. In CONCACAF, I think we have the quality to compete no matter who we put on the field there. But I think we're going to really have a hard time. I'm a very big Berhalter out sort of fan. I've watched the United States for the past 2 years, and this is just such an identical and similar performance. I do not like the way we're playing. Personally, I'd love to go for a guy like David Wagner, a dual international, plays really exciting football. He can relate to a lot of the younger guys there who are also dual internationals. Half his team, a lot of the team doesn't have English as their first language, so that's kind of an issue there. But yeah, that's kind of my take. I think we're all kind of tactically inept, and I think we're kind of we're shooting ourselves in the foot here.
I don't even know that we're making any headway on what the problem is. They're just not good enough, right?
I like this take from Don Fredo, though. Don Fredo's saying, need a coach on the field. Pulisic is almost there. If you think in the past, think about and I thought it was a polarizing player for a lot of people, especially that only remember the last 6 years and don't remember the last 16. But Michael Bradley was a good coach on the field.
Sure.
You had Claudio Reyna, which was a coach on the field.
Sure.
You had guys in the past that could dictate the plan and marshal guys on the field, and they were the captains. Maybe this whole rotating captain thing ain't effing working. Maybe they need a consistent person they know that can execute the coach's plan on the field when they can't hear the guy on the other side of the field. Someone that can get them together.
Okay, maybe. I still don't think the captaincy is the problem.
Like Berhalter's coaching from rainbows and unicorns. Like, everyone's a captain. Everyone's a captain.
Maybe.
We're going to play from the back.
Okay, on the list of problems, I think that's probably well down the list. I don't even know if it's in
You don't
the
think
top
leadership
10.
is a problem?
I don't think leadership in the form of an R band matters as much as you do. That's the bottom line.
Well, I'm talking about leadership like a guy on the field that understands what Berhalter's vision is, that can execute it and help it.
For sure. I mean, and maybe he's right. Maybe Jacob's right. Maybe the plan is literally get Dest the ball, get Pulisic the ball, let him go dance past some people, see what happens. I mean, maybe. Again, I think that, well, let's see. There's a couple calls I want to get to them. Two more. That'll be it. Brian from Tampa, you're on the Best Soccer Show. What's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
So I watched all of, obviously, last World Cup qualifying, and massive disappointment, miss Russia. It feels like the United States still has that, arrogance to them. Like, when they go play, oh, we're playing El Salvador, we should get the win, because now we got all these guys in Europe, they're playing for big clubs, but when they come together, we can't do anything. And also McKinney violating protocol or whatever it was and not being there tonight, I think that was just That was a massive
that was a blow.
difference.
Yeah, that was a blow.
He may not. We know there's a rotation
he
going on.
may not have
but
started,
not having
right.
it as an option is
Yeah.
a problem.
So I'm gonna let Brian go. I heard. I don't know how much I want to talk about it, but I heard a friend of mine, a friend of ours, Taylor Rockwell, on the Total Soccer Show, bring up the arrogance thing after the game in El Salvador. I don't know how you measured that. I look, maybe I'm just being hopeful. Maybe I just want to believe that they're not arrogant about getting points in El Salvador or beating Canada.
Can you blame them? Wait, can you blame them? The last year, all they've read is how great they are because they play for good club team. All they've been out there for a year.
Hold on. It's okay to say that maybe they've had some smoke blown up their ass or whatever, and that would affect people. But did you see arrogance? Is that what we're witnessing? How do you notice? How do you look at this team and go, "Oh, I think they're playing arrogant"? Like, how do you measure that?
I'll tell you one thing that I had that thought during the El Salvador game. I'm going to tell you when I had that thought a couple of times. When Weston McKennie was getting fouled off the ball. Not really fouled, but expecting foul calls that weren't getting called. When he was expecting to get calls that, I'm a big player, I should be getting these calls.
Okay, I guess you can.
When he was
call
on the
that
ground and the ball's going the other way.
Okay.
I think Tyler Adams had that a few times as well. I think some of these guys expect to get the calls they get in La Liga or Serie A. And I'm sorry, man, a referee ain't going to make that call in a CONCACAF away game. They're not.
No, he's not. I do think that, again, for as good as he was, the choice by Adams to go in, who did he go in on? Was it Kay or Ray? I can't remember. With the breakaway chance the United States had that got pulled back because Tyler decided.
It was Mark Anthony Kay.
It was Kay, who, by the way, is a prick on the field. Mark Anthony Kay is not a fun guy to play.
I'm sure they feel the same way about Tyler Adams.
You can't, in that moment, do that. Raf from New York, you're the last call on this. What's up, Raf?
Hey, so I think folks are just really overreacting here, which is fine. That's what fans do. But we've played how many games so far? 2.
Yeah, 2
You've got
games.
12 games left in qualification. And I think it's, I don't know if they get a point or if they even win at San Pedro Sula, right? Like, I don't know if that happens. And based on what we saw tonight, I think a point would be a great result. But to be honest, I think folks are really overreacting. People are talking about, get Berhalter out. It's like, who do you replace him with? Who do you replace him with?
Yeah. I mean,
Guardiola? No.
So I guess maybe part of this, Raf, also is, and again, I've said this before. I don't think you make a change unless you have somebody ready to step in that might be better. However, and I'm watching some video that Joe Lowry is clipped up about from this game. And it's just a random sequence where the United States is on the ball. I think Tyler Adams tries to play a switch and it gets cut out. I'm not even sure it's Tyler, but there is no attempt. So you have 2 blocks of 4 that Canada is playing in order to choke the United States. There's not a lot of space between them, but nobody is trying to find space between the lines to force the Canadian players to make a choice, right? So is that on Berhalter, or were these guys not prepared to make those runs and find those pockets? Because, and look, you have Sebastian Lletget. You think it's on the players? Okay. Again, Lletget eventually found that pocket. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's on the players. I think, these guys are in sufficiently good clubs. They're sufficiently good players that they should find this space. They should make those runs, right? And I think, we have this idea of what our expectations are for this crew of players. And I think that's blinding us to the fact that we should be demanding that these players perform at a higher level, particularly at home. They should feel that. It shouldn't all be on Berhalter, who does have to make adjustments. I think he's done player recruitment fine. I think the defense is good. The offense is pretty stale to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is on the players. I think, we need to, if you're a fan and you're dissatisfied with what you saw tonight, then that's on the players. And not having McKennie there is a blow. The fact that he, this is like the 3rd or 4th time that he's getting busted for this, because it happened when he was playing at Juventus earlier this year, that he got, I think, cited by the Carabinieri for violating COVID rules in Italy. I think that's a conversation you have to have with the players.
Yeah. There's a maturity
That lack
thing.
of discipline.
Yeah, there's a maturity
Right.
thing for
And
sure.
these are young guys. That maturity will come. You know, which is why I say that I think people are right
will
now
it come in the
overreacting. I think we have a dream of what the players are.
But will it come in the next 6 months?
You know?
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
That's the problem, Raph. We'll come next 6 months. Okay, I appreciate the call. Raph is trying to talk us down. We've gone extra long tonight. I'm going to finish with this. This is the summation of what we're trying to get to in terms of the attack and the tactical problem that you have, right? And again, you can decide. We'll let you figure out whether this is on Berhalter, who absolutely has to, it's his job to figure it out, or the players, or what. All right, so Michael Cayley, you can follow him on Twitter, MC_of_A. He does a podcast called Double Pivot, among other things. International football makes the best armchair managers because no one squad ever makes sense. The United States is short on passers and nines. We don't have number nines. We don't have anybody who unlocks. We don't have true creative midfielders or creative attacking players who pass the ball, right? Pulisic is a finisher and a crosser. He's not a guy who's going to pick his head up and slip somebody in, right? Or
Gio's the best passer we have.
Gio's the best passer we have, right? He was not here tonight. The U.S. is short on passers and nines, and up to here with carriers and outlets and pressers. So Tyler, Weston McKennie, both of those pressers. We have a couple of carriers. Sebastian Leget's a carrier. Kellen Acosta to a certain extent. Yunus Musa, if he was playing, he's not here, but you know. And we got to go beat a bunch of bad teams that sit behind the ball. And I'm not maybe simplifying things, but tonight you saw it. Canada sat behind the ball, and we were like, we don't know what to do with it because we don't have anybody who can find. And first of all, again, not making the runs between, not finding space between the lines in order to open those things up a little bit, but also not making those passes. There it is. And set pieces. No,
I think it's a good review. I think that we need to ask ourselves who else can move the ball, because that really is the big issue. How do you beat a bunkered in defense? You're going to have to beat someone somewhere with a good 1-2. It's triangles. You need to find those
triangles. Moving the ball way faster than they did, right?
1 and 2 touch. It's got to be 1 and 2 touch.
You have to go quickly, and if you want to pull them out of shape, you want to find gaps so that you can play the switch that doesn't get cut out and go the other direction with the counterattack. Well, you got to go faster, and they just don't feel comfortable going faster. They don't know.
Is there a passer that we're missing? Is there a passer that we need that isn't in this?
I mean, an obvious choice? No. I mean, you can play. This is the argument for playing Gio centrally.
I think potentially Musa's a better passer than what we're giving credit to, but
but he's not a 10.
Not Gio's level. Not Gio's level.
This is why everybody wants Gio to play centrally. Or Christian Pulisic to play
centrally. We may have seen that tonight. We may have seen that instead of Leggett tonight had Gio been healthy. You don't know.
Very possible. All right, we will reconvene on Wednesday for the United States against Honduras, and our plan is to be here again, right? Let's hope it's more joyful this time. We've had two draws so far, and our reputation is on the line, Jared. The United States never missed a World Cup when the Best Soccer Show was around. The Best Soccer Show's around. We can't miss a World Cup.
If it's
not letting them impugn me.
Stop doing these. Just hold that true.
All right. Incredible calls. All you guys, love you all. Passion out the whatever about this team. If you do have Sirius XM, listen to my radio show. I never plug it on this. I never do. But listen to it. We have the Patreon. Look, if you want good vibes out of all of this, join the Patreon. Jump in the Slack. People are finding things to be happy about that aren't necessarily about
all the people that you like in the chat are in there.
Yeah, that's true. Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. By the way, I think we're streaming this to Twitch tonight. We hadn't done that before. We have a Twitch channel. If you're a Twitch person, there you go. Go find us on Twitch. I think most of these people are watching on YouTube. So shout out to those people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's bump the numbers there. Anything else? Shout out to Keith Hickey, a guy I used to work with. Anything else?
Keith Hickey, one of the funniest guys in soccer when he wants to be.
He wants to be. Yeah.
I think that's it, guys. We'll be back Wednesday night, whether you like it or not. We'll be here. So if you're really feeling it, listen. It has the potential for being a really good show.
Yeah, you know what?
For all the wrong reasons.
I'm trying to change the mojo a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out with a slightly different song tonight. We're gonna mix it up. I don't think I've ever done this, but I want the good vibes. And the man did score, and I put this on the board specifically for BA. Brendan Aronson. Okay, maybe his not bad attitude. Maybe it's not. That's not why he's BA. But I'm still going to do this. We'll talk to you guys Wednesday night following USA Honduras.
Danger zone! Damn, dog. You're gross. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Eddie, what have you done for me lately? Go to DEFCON 2.
Jay Rodius.